Hello, everyone. Welcome to a Brenda Snowmageddon edition of the podcast.
Who's Brenda?
What? This storm that's happening as we speak, as we're recording, has been nicknamed Brenda, and Matt Ryan is thrilled by it because that's the name of his new book. But anyways, welcome to the show, everybody. Marc and Bryon here to talk with you. Got a lot to talk about. Oscars happened over the weekend. We'll talk about that a little bit. What we're watching, what's going on with us. We're gonna go see the D&D movie a little bit early for most people. We're gonna do that on Sunday. We'll talk about that. We got the usual stuff. We got Mando and the season finale of The Last of Us. That'll be the end of the show, so we'll talk about that as well. But as always, we start the show with how you doing, Bryon?
Oh, sorry.
What's new with you?
I was gonna say we started with the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody stand up.
Here is some person who stormed the Capitol doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah. We got the QAnon guy.
Yeah, the QAnon guy. The QAnon guy
shaman.
With
the shaman.
Yeah, the shaman with a horn.
Yeah. He's gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance for us. That would be pretty.
Pledge allegiance to Trump. No.
I would die laughing.
United States of
QAnon. For all the babies that were sacrificed.
Yes.
For the elites to eat and drain their blood. People. The lizard people. Geez, what is wrong with us?
You went off the rails there.
I know. Well, I said Pledge of Allegiance, and then you were talking about the QAnon shaman. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. That's a big thing. They brought in some guy that was a criminal.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Mark, I caught up on Mando.
That's good.
And I am very excited to talk about The Last of Us. And this week, I got myself a snow day today. We got a little. This hopefully is the last snowstorm. We've been dry all winter, and then it's like spring is right around the corner, and old man winter's like, nope, we got some snowstorms.
It usually happens. You get that one big snowstorm right before spring.
Yeah, so this is it. Hopefully,
spring starts next Tuesday.
Yeah, so let's hope we're done with this. Anyway, it's been a quiet week nonetheless. I mean, I'm excited. We get to see a early preview of Dungeons and Dragons this Sunday, which is really cool. Yes. Thanks to John.
And Jeff Bezos, technically.
And Jeff Bezos, yes. So that's very exciting. But other than that, Mark, we should mention the last Enfield market at the Enfield Mall is going to be happening the last Sunday of the month. I think so. We only have like 2 more left, 2 or 3 more left.
I think so. Yeah.
Because we're in the middle of March, which is bonkers. I feel like March just started, and I'm like, where the hell does the time go?
And then the farmers market takes over. I think not long after that.
Now, is that inside the mall?
I think so. It used to be out in the middle of, like, in front of the town hall.
That's what I thought.
I think it's over at the mall now.
Huh. Well,
I could be wrong.
I am interested in going.
If you don't live in this town, you don't really care.
I'm interested in going to Enfield, the last market. We did go in the beginning, and it was really cool. So
yeah,
I'm guessing the last one's going to be a big one because everybody knows it will be the last one of the year, and I hope they do it again next year.
Yeah.
But beyond that, Mark, pretty quiet. Me and my wife were watching. We're
chugging through Buffy.
We're loving Buffy and Angel. And what else? Oh, Abbott Elementary. Love that show. I'm almost done with season 1. Fantastic show. And also, this is a show you brought up a couple weeks ago, and I had to revisit, and I fell in love with it this time around, which is Party Down. I just got into season 2, and it's funny, after we talked about Party Down, years ago, when Party Down was on Hulu, they put it up there. I watched a couple episodes, and maybe I just wasn't in the mood for it, but it didn't stick with me. Yeah. Gave it a second shot. That afternoon, after we recorded, I watched 5 episodes. And I love it. And so also, you need stars on Hulu to watch the new season.
Oh, okay.
But they give you a 7 free day trial.
Ah.
Now, I think all the episodes are out. because it was a week to week thing.
I think. I
What I'm gonna do is once I finish season 2, I'll get the 7-day free trial because it's
last through
only
the third season.
just because it's only 10 episodes.
Yeah.
If that, because the first 2 seasons are 10.
Yeah.
So I will get the 7-day trial and watch season 3. Megan Mullally had just joined the cast in season 2. Like Martin, I mean, I love the cast, and it's such a great show. And Ken Marino, of course, and there's a lot of Thomas Lennon. I just watched the orgy episode where Thomas Lennon's character had the F room, and he's trying everybody go in the F room.
Yes.
But yeah, great show. I'm excited to watch season 3. So you haven't watched season 3 at all?
No, we're still in the middle of season 2. We kind of jump around from show to show. It's new shows appear. We kind of get distracted and forget about the other shows. We still haven't finished Hot D yet. We're still in the middle of that. We still have to catch up.
I don't know what that is.
House of the Dragon.
Oh, yeah. Part of me, like, I know I've heard good things, and I of course really loved Game of Thrones up until the end, like most people.
Yeah.
And I know this season's compelling, and people have praised it. Obviously, I hear all the good things, and I do want to jump in, but the back of my mind is I know how this ends.
Yeah.
The kid in the wheelchair ends up on the throne.
Yeah.
Why should I care? You know what I'm saying? You know how it ends.
Not this though, because this is all like way before.
I know, but they're arguing over the throne, and you're just kind of like, well, ultimately, it's going to be the kid, the crippled kid. So I mean, guys, relax.
Not there's anything wrong with that. I mean,
it was a bad ending, bad choice. Bad choice. But anyway, I do want to watch House of Dragon, but I kind of feel like I'm going to wait for that ship to end. Like, I kind of feel like I'll just wait for that.
We got into the beginning of it, but then they do the time jump.
I know they fast forward.
Yeah.
They go in the future.
That's when we stopped, was when they did the time jump, because I don't know what Claire's thought of it was, but I really enjoyed the actress that was playing the younger character. Like, she was a really good actress, and she was really good at it, and the story was really good. And now, like, it's just like, oh, she's gone. And it's like, oh, well, I don't want to like learn a new person and like have to, it's
question. I got a question for you. Is this person just growing up? It's the same character, or they get rid of
the actor completely and replace it with another actor?
But my question is it the same character older?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's a different person playing the part.
Right.
Like they've done with the Queen and the Crown.
Right. I kind of
like that kind of thing.
They're trying to move time forward quickly.
Yeah.
I mean,
even in the Crown, there's like some of the actors that played the Queen I was not as big of a fan of as I was of others.
Yeah.
So it kind of like doesn't like kind of ruins the enjoyment of the show, kind of, because you're like, oh, I was really into that actress playing this part, and now it's somebody else.
Right.
And I don't really like want to try to figure out their mannerisms and how they do it. And it's just kind of strange. And we just haven't and then it just kind of Claire broke her leg and we just stopped watching it.
Right.
I
kind of feel like I'm gonna wait for House of the Dragon to come and go. And I think when House of the Dragon ends,
it's a long wait because it's an HBO show. And you know how those HBO shows go. It takes years between seasons.
It's quality though. That's why. So I'll wait it out.
Yeah.
I know you must be excited because tomorrow, one of your favorite shows starts back up. Ted Lasso.
Yes. It's a big day tomorrow. Season 3 of the final season.
Did they announce? I don't think they announced that yet.
It's pretty. I mean, I don't know how much more you could drag this out at this point. It's the story's kind of.
I think they would have announced if it was the final season.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if they do a 4th one.
Because I know
that's kind of an Apple TV thing. 3 seasons and done, kind of.
Let's see. I'm gonna Google it.
But
everyone
tomorrow. The Bad Batch is really good this season. A lot of we're delving into some deep stuff there. Guy from work's calling. I'll tell him I'm busy.
Who's calling you?
Someone from work. But yeah, so doing that. But big news we have, Brian, that we need to talk about before we get too far into the show is we have a special presentation coming.
We have a presentation?
Did you forget already?
I didn't do a presentation. I didn't do my
Oh
homework.
no, not today, but coming up on March 27th or the 28th, whatever day we decide to do it. We are going to do our first in-person podcast since before the pandemic.
Yes. Wow.
I'm being excited about it.
I'm looking at my schedule. I could do the 28th.
That's what it was. Yes, I knew it was one of those.
All right.
But
it's not a presentation, Mark. We're not
it's a special presentation. It's like they call them on TV, special presentations.
Yes, we are finally going to do an episode in the studio.
Yes.
We're going to be in person.
Trial it out, see how it works. I built the studio. Studio is completed and ready to go.
You built the studio on rock and roll?
I did.
Built this city on rock and roll.
I tested it out with our engineer. I enlisted our crew is lined up.
Who's our crew?
Big Jake is going to help us out.
Two live crew.
He's going to run the control room for us.
Wow.
So.
All right.
He's offered to also help us out anytime we want to. If we want to keep doing it, he said he'd make himself available when we need him. So. Yeah,
maybe we can shoot to try to do one a month.
That's what I was thinking to start with, and then kind of as we get into it, it might be more. It was definitely nice because I tested out with Chris Giard from Diminishing Gym, and he's also works at Cox with me. But just sitting across from somebody and talking to them, this is great. The Zoom thing, it saved us from having to do the show during the pandemic.
Yeah,
the studio was closed, but it's not the same thing. Like you don't like that same person in front of you, conversation stuff.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So we're gonna try that, test it out. We're gonna dress up the set as much as we can. Make it look nice.
All right. I'm excited.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be doing that on the 28th. Are we going to be going live on Facebook with it? That's the question.
Probably not the first one.
Okay.
And if anyone's heard about previous shows we've done, having Bryon live, probably not the best idea.
I was never a problem live.
Bryon says things and doesn't think about it when he says things. And then Mark has to edit those things out of the show to save Bryon from being canceled. So we don't do things live.
We used to do live shows on Facebook. Nobody could hear us because the audio never worked.
Yes. But
and obviously I would be on my best behavior. I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah, I've heard that.
But that's exciting. I'm excited, Mark.
This from the man who's flatulated on regular radio. So it shows how mature he is.
I've grown up, Mark. That was a different Bryon. That was a different guy. I don't do that kind of stuff now. What are you talking about?
I just say inappropriate things.
I've changed. I'm a different person.
Yeah, since like 6 months ago.
Yeah, I've changed. I'm a different guy from yesterday.
In 6 months.
I'm a different guy from 10 minutes ago. Mark, I want to let you know. Ted Lasso. There is some talk that Jason Sudeikis has said that season 3 it could be the ending because there is no plans for season 4 as of now. So I'm excited for you because I'm excited because on HBO.
Probably gonna watch it.
No, I tried Ted Lasso. It's just not my cup of tea. You like that?
Party Down, but
Party Down was awesome. Ted Lasso.
I mean, you're a different guy now than you were 6 months ago. I like it now.
Honestly, I can't get over his accent because I kind of feel like I'm watching an SNL sketch, and I'm like, is he going to break character and start giggling? I don't
You're
know.
very weird.
It's not my cup of tea. It's fine. Everything is not made for everyone.
I got it.
For me, I am excited for two shows that they've confirmed their final seasons, Succession and Barry. Those are the two, other than The Last of Us, my two shows I'm very highly anticipating. Barry, I was floored that we're getting one more season.
Yeah.
Because the last season ended so perfectly. I remember me and Allison had watched it, and I turned to her and said, "Holy shit, that had to be the end." I'm like, "There's no fucking way we come back from that."
Yeah.
And
they'll figure out a way.
And they are ending it officially in Succession. They just announced a month ago, this is the last season. Some of the best acting on television is from Succession.
These are both two shows that I've thought about watching and haven't ever gotten into. Because you can only watch so many shows.
I know that, Mark. Believe me, I know. So, give them a shot. I don't know. They might not be.
Yeah, Barry's on my list of shows that I'd probably end up watching sooner or later. Succession, probably not so much. Not really my cup of tea.
Give it a shot. Succession, man. Whew, I love it.
I tried that show Billions once, a couple times.
Nothing like Billions.
Couldn't get into it.
It's nothing like Billions.
I'm just saying, it's just another show. It's like people thought it was amazing. I just didn't really get into.
So those are the two shows I'm anticipating for the year. Honestly, those are but yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. I know you got Ted Lasso tomorrow. I want to hear about it next week. And I guess we could jump into Mando if you want.
I'm good though. Thanks for asking. I'm fine. Everything here is
great. Thought we were talking, we're having a good conversation about it. Okay, Mark, sorry. How was your week? I thought you were having a good back and forth.
No, you kind of just jumped to Ted Lasso's starting tomorrow. And I was like, okay.
All right, Mark. And then you talked about the set. I'm sorry.
Yes.
What do you got there? I apologize.
Claire and I watched the Oscars on Sunday, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. I don't know if you guys got a chance to watch it.
Talk about it now. I gave up on that.
Let me finish what else we've been watching before you just jump ahead on the thing here.
Give me the Oscars, baby.
Jeez Louise, you're amped up. Did you have coffee this morning, like in the past 10 minutes or something?
No, but I thought you would, give us.
No, that wasn't even a transition. It was just the first thing I've said.
All right, Oscars. Okay, go on. What else?
Louise. We also have been watching the History of the World Part 2.
Oh, yeah?
On Hulu. That's been pretty good.
Can I ask you about it, or you want to wait to talk about that too?
No, we could ask you about it.
All right, okay, just making sure.
Yeah.
I want to know. The trailers.
Not as funny as the first one.
The trailers look corny as hell.
There are corny parts.
The reviews have been good, surprisingly. Yes. So, what do you think? What's your takeaway?
I mean, it's difficult to redo something that was hilarious.
But they're not redoing it.
But I mean, it's a sequel to.
Yeah, I get it.
Sequel to the first one.
Yeah,
you can definitely tell the writing is Mel Brooks' writing. There's some highlight people in it, and there's some people that you're just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Nick Kroll, any skits Nick Kroll's in are hilarious. He is amazing. It's very much hit or miss with the different people that are like the main people that they're using for the different skits.
Is there a through line, or is it all just random sketches?
No, it kind of just jumps around in history like the first one did.
Oh, okay.
Seth Rogen as Moses was hilarious.
That sounds pretty cool.
So it's just like a bunch of different skits. It's like sketches.
Yeah.
Kind of. Nice. It's pretty good. And there's some through lines. There's some stories that are longer, that are in different episodes that jump. The story keeps going, kind of thing. But then there's some smaller, like one-time things. So
now, how many episodes and how many?
I want to say there's like 6, maybe 5, 6.
Like
half an hour long.
Okay, have you watched them all?
No, we've gotten through I think half of them.
All right, I think half hour is a good time for a comedy.
Yeah.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, it's good though. It was not terrible.
That's good. I like that. It's not
Yeah,
terrible. That's a
yeah,
good review.
yeah.
It's not terrible.
It's not terrible. It's not like painful to watch. Like there's
Right.
some comedy things that are critically like really well received, but then like you watch them like this isn't funny. Like how do people like this?
Like She-Hulk, I didn't laugh
I didn't
once.
mind She-Hulk. She-Hulk had moments.
I didn't laugh. The only time I laughed during She-Hulk was when Daredevil did the walk of shame.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yes, that was good. Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But besides that, just the usual stuff. Nothing to you watching Mando, watching Last of Us, getting all that stuff in.
can we talk about the Oscars now?
We can talk about the Oscars now.
Well, I didn't watch the Oscars, so
Of course you didn't, because you watched Last of Us instead.
oh yeah, I could give two shits about the Oscars. I am
They were
done with
good,
the
though.
Oscars.
They weren't bad.
I did see the highlights of Brendan Fraser winning, which was very adorable.
Which is amazing.
And
That was emotional.
what's his name from Everything All Everywhere All at Once?
Him winning.
Yeah, and both of them being together, and they haven't been on the set since Encino Man, and them both winning an Oscar the same night. It's really cool. That's really cool.
The coolest one was at the end because Harrison Ford gave out Best Picture.
Yeah.
And he hadn't been in the crowd. He was just in the back. So he hadn't seen Ke Huy Quan since he won. And so he comes up on stage when they give out the Best Picture and they like go to each other. And he's like, Indy. He's like, I won, Indy. And he's like saying, you could hear it in the microphone, like him saying, like, I won, Indy, I won. And he's like, oh, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah, I saw that
amazing.
footage. Yeah, I think feel good stuff happened from the obviously. What won Best Picture?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No, I thought the Colin Farrell movie.
No, Everything Everywhere All at Once won Best Picture.
Did it really?
They won 7. They won Best Actress, Best Supporting Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Original Screenplay, Best Director.
Wow.
Best Picture.
That is awesome. That makes me so happy.
They swept
because I said, it
was them and All Quiet on the Western Front won like basically everything. I think Avatar only won for visual effects.
Which it should, because the visual effects were unbelievable.
Because it's all it is visual effects. It's nothing else.
No, it's honestly, what's funny? I know you're gonna hate to hear this, but seeing Ant-Man 2, the entire time I was going, holy shit. Avatar 2 special effects make this movie look like a fucking cartoon. I was like,
because it's all it is visual effects.
It's like unbelievably amazing. And then Ant-Man 3, we watch Ant-Man 3 and I'm like, I feel like I'm watching a Saturday morning cartoon. It's like the visual effects are really not that great.
Remember, you probably did you see Avatar in IMAX?
I saw in IMAX, which I didn't like, and then I did see it in 3D in West Springfield, which I enjoyed
you watched
more.
Ant-Man in 2D. So I bet you've seen Ant-Man in 3D or IMAX. The visuals would have been different.
No. I'm not talking about the 3D. I'm just talking about the visual effects were beyond what I've seen. It's beyond any Marvel movie. It's amazing.
Well,
and then
drop $2 billion on a film. You expect to get good graphics out of it.
Yeah, it's really good. But anyway, I going back to Everything All Everywhere All at Once. I'm so happy it won because I was like, honestly, if Parasite won, this could win. And the fact that it won makes me feel like the Oscars aren't that out of touch, because I really thought like they were gonna give it to like Elvis or the Fablemans or whatever. And I was like,
Fablemans got shut out. They didn't win anything.
I mean, does it really need to win anything? I'm very happy because Everything Everywhere All at Once
score went to All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, which is the first time I've heard of this movie. It's just
it's on Netflix. It's amazing.
I don't have Netflix.
I know. If you do get Netflix back, it's worth watching. It's 2.5 hours. It's a war movie. It's epically shot. It's all in German.
Yeah, maybe.
It was really well done. Actually, Baron Zemo is one of the producers of it. Like he
Oh,
like
yeah?
basically put up all the money to put the movie on, and he's in it as one of the commanders.
Um,
Yeah, it was really good.
yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad they won. I had no idea. For some
Yeah,
strange reason, I thought the Banshee of
and Sheeran.
Sheeran won. I thought. But
But
that's
no,
awesome.
Claire and I were talking about it, like there's like the Oscar movies this year. We definitely want to like see them. Like we want to do it beforehand. We just never had time. But we want to see Banshee. We want to see Everything Everywhere All at Once. I want to see Fablemans because I'm a Steven Spielberg fan, so I want to see that because it's basically his life story. So
You know, he was so brave to make that movie. That's what he said. He was brave. He's a brave boy. He
well,
made
I
that movie
mean,
about his
the
life.
story is
He's a
because the story of
brave little boy.
his mom basically cheating on his dad with his best friend. So
Brave.
yeah,
I salute him. No, I love Spielberg, but I just that nothing about that movie looked good. I would see the trailer and I'm like, is this a Lifetime movie? Like, why is there that weird glow on this trailer?
he
It
put
was
like
like
a weird,
a
because it's like a
Lifetime
memory.
glow.
It's like supposed to be like his memories kind of thing. So it's shot very artsy,
I
art
guess.
housey kind of.
Or they forgot to take the film off the lens.
Yeah,
Off
something
the
like that.
camera.
But
I'm
yeah,
only kidding. I'm sure it's great. I'll watch it when it's on HBO Max.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then besides that, like I mentioned earlier, I'm watching Bad Batch, and I know it's not a show you're into. I know you don't like the cartoons of Star Wars,
No.
but the story Dave Filoni is telling in this show right now is amazing. It is the transition from the clone troopers to the stormtroopers and how that all went down. And I think they're going to explain uh, the story of Darth Sidious and the cloning and how he was alive in the sequels.
Darth Sidious?
Yes, the Emperor.
Oh, the Emperor.
Yeah.
Oh God. I mean, I don't know. It was the worst part of that movie.
Yeah.
I really did not.
I think it's like it was a better book story than the movie did.
Well,
like the story in the book, and they kind of hinted at it in the video game. Was it Battlefront?
Yeah. Do I really want? No, it wasn't Battlefront. It was Fortnite. Mark, they made
No, they did
in
its thing. Wasn't there the one with the girl that was the trooper? That was Battlefront.
Yeah,
2.
Battlefront 2, but that was not in there. That had nothing to do with him coming back as a clone. Because that didn't even take place.
Well, he did like the robot thing where his intelligence was like his consciousness was uploaded into the floating robot. It was in that. It was also hinted at. It was also a little bit in the Jedi video game. They had that too, where Darth Vader's communicating with the.
Yeah, but that takes place during the prequels. So Order 66 happens. So he is alive. It has nothing to do with anything.
No, I'm thinking of the Battlefront game then, because it's the one where on the starship. It was right after Endor, and he dies, and then the robot initiates and has his face on the floating robot. I vaguely remember this now. It's been a while since I played that game, but I vaguely remember that story.
I don't know.
Playing the stormtrooper. She was a death trooper or something.
Yeah.
Remember that one? And then she turns to the
good side. I remember. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm glad they're trying to make that horrible decision.
I think they're more talking about the transition from the clone troopers to stormtroopers and telling how that story is going to go.
Right.
But yeah, so we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's pretty good. This season's way better than the first season was.
Right. Well, that's good.
The stories are much deeper and much more serious than last year, where they were just kind of just running around with a kid. Now they're delving more into the Star Wars lore stuff, which is
what was the kid? What was the kid's purpose?
Omega is technically Boba Fett's sister. She's a direct female clone of Jango Fett. So that would make her Boba Fett's sister.
And then what do they do with that character?
She escapes Kamino, the planet where they made the clones, because the Empire destroys Kamino, and the Bad Batch saves her from that, and they're on the run, getting away.
I'm listening. I'm turning the heat on. It's cold down here.
Oh, I was like, what's going on? Like, we're on the move. But yeah, so then the whole story is this them like on the run, trying to get away from the Empire and doing these like missions.
Yeah.
And now the whole thing is turned this season to the story of the Empire phasing out the clone troopers from the Republic era and instituting the stormtroopers, and how that whole transition is going and how it's affecting the bigger like story. Because one of the clones from the Bad Batch defects back to the Empire, because when Order 66 happened, he's the only one who's like believes that that's a good order, and the other ones don't. So there's like a whole like dynamic there. So
wait, he believes it's a good order, but it was an order
because all the clone troopers had chips in their heads.
Yeah.
When Order 66 happened, that chip activated.
Yeah.
In the Bad Batch, hence the name, they're the Bad Batch of clones. Their chips never turned on because they didn't have the chips in their heads because they're like specialized clones. So 3/4 of the group didn't turn on the Jedi.
Yeah.
But one of them believed that the Empire was right and wanted to stay with the Empire because he thought that's where he needed to be. So the group fractured. And that was the story from last season. Now this season, they're kind of hinting at the story is going to be that they're going to reunite and become a team again. But we'll see how that happens.
All right. Well, you keep me posted.
I will. It's good though.
All right. I like hearing it from you. I find it to be entertaining.
I'm glad.
You're going to be my storyteller.
All right.
You just keep me posted on it. I'm fine. I like this. To me, I like this. This is what I like.
All right.
Tell me the story.
Okay.
I got too many shows to watch.
I know. We all do. We all have
not on my radar at all.
You have a show from 30 years ago to keep up on.
I love Buffy. Yeah.
I've heard.
It's funny. Well, should we jump into Mando?
Yeah, we can.
Let's jump into Mando. Episode 2 came out.
Yes.
And it's weird. I watched Mando yesterday. And I tried to watch it on Friday. And I don't know why. I fell asleep in the middle of it because I was tired or whatever. I just couldn't get into it. I had more anticipation for the finale of The Last of Us and watching Buffy and Angel. Yeah. And then now that I've come down from The Last of Us, I was like, okay, I'm gonna rewatch this episode. Yeah. And it was a good one.
It was a really good episode. A lot of action.
I felt it was a little too dark sometimes. I'm like, what is going on?
Well, they're underground.
I understand, but it was very dark. It's a very dark episode.
You're also under the Civic Center, and if you've ever been under the Civic Center, it's a dark place.
Yeah, I didn't see any hockey players or anybody hanging out eating a buffet of cheeses and crackers. So,
any Hartford Whalers banners hanging in the?
Yeah, I was really disappointed by the Civic Center, to tell you the truth.
How many people from outside of from Cox who live outside of our area, for the companies across the country now, but people from the different parts of the company that sent me memes after that episode came out, like, oh, I was waiting to see the Whalers Whalers banners, or see you walking around at the Civic Center. They're going to the Civic Center. I'm like, yes, they're going to the Civic Center.
And you loved it.
I did. I did pop when they said it the first episode. Yeah. You have to go to the Civic Center and go underneath and find them. I'm like, trust me, there's no magical pool of water underneath the Hartford Civic Center. Nothing you'd want to jump into.
Well, he went into this. We're going to the end. He gets into the pool of water, but then he falls like a rock.
Well, because there's a step. It goes off a step. You're not supposed to go all the way down like that.
Yeah, and then come to find out, there's a big creature living in there.
Mythosaur's there.
I don't know what that is.
Mythosaur is the creature that basically the head of Mandalore defeated. That it started the Mandalorian religion, basically.
Well, it's not defeated because it's there.
Well, it means there's more than one of them. They always thought there was just one. And no one went back down there after,
I was gonna say there's never just one.
Well, also like the thing of it is, it's like it was kind of like the Loch Ness of Mandalore, kind of. Like no one actually knew it was real. It was like one of those things that was talked about. Hence why it's called the Mythosaur.
Yeah.
Then there's a rumor possibility that there's going to be the writing of the Mythosaur by Mando, a la Boba Fett writing in the Rancor.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. I don't know anything. It was a good. Overall, it was a great episode. I really enjoyed it. I liked how Grogu has become more involved, and he's less. He's not as hopeless.
Yeah.
Or helpless, I should say.
Yeah. Getting close to talking, I think.
Yeah, he makes noises,
which I think would be interesting. Let's see how that gets brought into the show.
Yeah, I am happy.
It's awesome to see Amy Sedaris.
Yeah, I mean, you get to see the regular casting characters. Yeah, I'm glad they got a droid. They got what's his name?
I can't think of R5D4.
Yeah,
redemption episode for R5D4.
I was happy they weren't like, let's bring back the bounty hunter, because clearly that was a bad idea anyway.
Well, I don't think. I think it was just kind of
No, it was a bad idea story wise.
Yeah,
because even if they got a memory board, it would.
Well, it shows. It kind of just It kind of shows the thing with Mando that not all of his ideas are great.
Yes.
Which is something you don't usually see in Star Wars. It's like whatever you've come up with that's what the right idea is. It magically works, and you just keep going with the story.
Yes.
Whereas in Mando, sometimes your decisions are bad.
Yes, that's what I should have done. That's what I like about it. Yeah. Like they were like, no, that's a bad idea. You should use this droid.
Yeah.
So
you're not gonna find that part because it doesn't exist anymore. So just
I mean, I like
that we have.
I like making it interesting, making it difficult for him to complete his quest. Not everything's gonna go as smoothly as you want it to go.
And they have that weird spider droid that was down the bowels of the planet.
I like that. I like that the it had that little hole for its eyeball, and I was looking around. I thought it was cool looking. I thought it was really cool looking. I mean, I like the look of the planet. I mean, Mando's always looked like a sharp
time machine.
Show. Yeah, it looked great.
But those creatures reminded me of the Morlocks from the Time Machine movie. Remember the old 60s Time Machine movie?
Yeah, yes.
When they lands in the future and there's those weird creatures that have been mutated. That's what these things on Mandalore look like. Yeah.
I mean, it was a great show, great episode, and I mean, it's moving the story along. Where are we going next? Now that Mando is out of commission because he took a header, and
well, even still, he was back up and running basically by the time the episode was over.
Oh, that's true. Because she got him out.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They had the pog water and all that, or pog water, whatever it was.
Right.
It's just crazy. The one thing I've seen a lot of people talk about is that with Mandalorian, they just do that. They're the first show that kind of just does the thing. It's don't need to stretch this out. After the first episode, kind of thought this was going to be the whole show for the season. It was going to be him trying to find the Civic Center to find a way to get to underneath the thing to get into the water to redemption himself. And they just did it in the second episode. So that story's over with. So what's the rest of the story now? It's what is the big story of the season going to be? It's it seems like it kind of just I was kind of caught up guard. I was I thought there was going to be a lot more exposition to happen. Him trying to find his way down to the planet. There's issues. He can't land. He has to take back off again. Has to get a bigger.
Well, that seems like stretching it out way too far for 9 episodes. So No, because you still have you have those pirates that are out there.
Yes, yeah.
They're going to cause some problems, obviously, and they might be a threat to that what's his name and his planet.
Yeah.
Obviously, and also, what was the other thing he had to do other than going into the pool and redeeming himself? Is the saber
He's on the mission to get the sabers thing. We don't really know what story on's there.
Yeah,
Moff Gideon's still floating around somewhere.
Well, Moff wasn't he
Possibly.
arrested? He was arrested.
Yeah, but that's still a story that's available.
Yeah.
And like the Thrawn story is still floating around. So who knows what's gonna be this season.
Yeah. I like keeping on your toes. I didn't want 9 episodes of him just looking for a pool.
No, exactly. Yeah. But I mean, I thought that was gonna be like not just a pool, but I thought like him redeeming himself was gonna be like the big story. But it's just a side story. So I was like, oh, okay. So we're really just going into this. We're really just doing the thing.
Side missions that will lead to a bigger mission, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
it was a great episode. There was a lot of cool stuff in it.
Yeah, yeah. Overall, really
I like the fact that they've like using Grogu as a way to be more helpful than just like you were saying, just the helpless character.
Yeah, he can do things.
He's starting to do things and be able to fly the ship and get the ship to go get Bo-Katan to come back and stuff, and
right,
kind of start putting together the team of the season, kind of.
Yeah, and I mean they both use the dark saber.
She used it a lot easier than he did.
Well, she's used it before. He hasn't.
Exactly.
But now they're both using it. So what happened to this whole big thing about they had to fight each other? Well, I guess that's not happening.
That's for the ownership of it. She just kind of just used it because she needed to, and it was there. But it goes back to Din.
I guess.
But it's like weird. Whoever doesn't. It's not like whoever wields it. It's whoever has the rights to it, kind of.
So maybe they're going to share it because they're a team now.
I don't know. We'll see.
Mommy and Daddy with baby Grogu. Right? You
maybe.
Get that?
Yes, we'll see. Maybe.
It's Mommy and Daddy, baby Grogu. Grogu on board. It's a little family now. They got it's all about family. Van Diesel.
Family. It's in Fast and Furious. Fast and Furious in space.
Van Diesel showed up at the end. It's all about the family.
Show up for the next episode. It's all about family.
It's all about family.
Barbecue.
Actually, it's going to be a cameo where it's going to be linked to Fast and the Furious 10, where they're flying in a car in outer space. And they're going to make eye contact.
Like nods to him, and then they go off in their separate directions. Like
yes. And you hear that song playing?
Yeah.
When Paul Walker died?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is
Charlie Bluth song starts cranking.
Yeah. How's the song go?
Been long days. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the only part of the movie I've ever seen is that one scene, and I just like couldn't not.
It was everywhere.
Laugh about it, which is sad, but
well, I mean, it's a tragedy that Paul Walker died.
It's a tragedy that he died. It was just the way they went about doing it was just very schmaltzy.
Yeah. Anyway,
it was like pigeonholed into the story, kind of. It was like they didn't have to jam that in there.
No, they jammed.
They jammed it in.
When it's about family, Mark, you jam.
About family.
You jam that in when you're going to make a family.
Go to Olive Garden with Vin Diesel. It's all about that.
It's all about family. Jam that in.
Your family.
You're making families.
Yes,
we're making families. At Olive Garden.
Yes.
Jamming that breadstick in that soup bowl.
Oh, careful.
Jeez.
It's a family show.
Family. Making family. Yeah, it's all family. It's all about the family, Mark.
Oh man, this is why we can't do a live show. Anyway.
What I mean, for me, it was an 8 out of 10. I still feel like we're building to something.
Yeah, I still think we don't really know what the big story is going to be for the year. I think we're just doing side stories right now,
leading up to something bigger.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And man, Mando comes back tomorrow. Holy crap! Who's there already?
It is.
The
I'm
week-
telling you. On a side note, this time uh, thing that we just had, daylight savings time, has really thrown me off. I don't know why, but daylight savings this time has really messed with my like inner time clock in my body. Like I feel like I don't really know what time it is anymore. I've like not been able to fall asleep very well. I just like my whole like internal clock is totally messed up.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Just
I'm
I've
going to
never had
bed
issues with it
later.
before. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm
Yeah.
usually in bed by 10 and
Yeah.
now I'm falling asleep almost 11.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hate it because I'm still waking
Yeah.
up at 5:30.
Oh,
So
exactly. Yeah. I wake up at like 8 o'clock, like right awake, but like going to bed at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
that's normal for you. You always go to bed late.
Well, no, but even still, it's like I've started to go to bed earlier before daylight savings time. Like I was getting pretty good. Like around midnight, I'd be in bed and good to go. Because I'd wake up at 8 o'clock. So I've been trying to like get my 8 hours in. But I don't know, since daylight savings time, like that first night, I was up until like 3 o'clock in the morning because I just couldn't figure out the time situation. Like my body was just like, no, we're fine. We're totally awake. I don't know what your problem is.
Well, you've always been a night owl, Mark.
Yeah. But it's even this like time during the day. I've like totally been thrown off. Like I don't know. Like I was thinking this morning when you're like, "Oh, we're gonna do the show." I'm like, "Oh no, it's 10 o'clock and it's not 9."
Yeah.
I just haven't.
Also, when you're at home and you don't have to go to work, it does.
Yeah.
It does have.
Yeah.
I get it. I totally get it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to work. It doesn't. Monday kind of fixed me.
Yeah.
Well, I remember working from home during COVID. It messed me up too.
Yeah.
It messed me up
Yeah.
too. All right, Marcus. The Last of Us, the season finale,
Yes.
all Sunday. That's all I was thinking about. Allison.
So first question for you.
Well, hold on. No, we build to it, and then you ask
Okay,
me questions.
okay.
Okay. Sunday. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it was going to, and I was so excited to watch it with Allison. So excited. And we rewatched the last episode, which we both loved, and we get into the final episode. And obviously, spoilers. When Joel's in the hospital, I could feel my heart in my throat. I'm like, holy fuck. I can feel my adrenaline pumping. I'm like, here we fucking go. And Allison was just like, what is going on?
Yeah.
And I'm getting the chills thinking about it. It is that scene, the ending, the most divisive part of the whole show. And it was so phenomenal.
And the game.
What?
And probably the game too when you play
it was. This is something I've been thinking about since I played the game. And I was like, I really was excited to have Allison experience something that I could never talk to her about because she doesn't play video games.
Yeah.
And I was just like, it was so great. And then we got to talk about it afterwards. And I'm so excited for season 2. But Marcus, I mean, I'm in love with the show, but I want to know what you thought of the whole thing. What was your
I first off, my first question I was going to ask you was, did you think when you saw how not short, but the runtime of it, where you think they'd be able to jam all that into 43 minutes?
To tell you the truth, so I go on HBO Max, right? And I see the 43 minutes and I'm like, wow, this is a very short episode.
Yeah.
Are they going to pull it off?
Yeah.
I thought they did. It felt, the pacing of the show has always been good. Even if the show was long or short, I feel like it never dwelled on something too long, and I've never felt rushed. And was I kind of like, I thought this would have been like a little over an hour. But watching it, I was like, holy fuck, that thing flew by, and it did all the things it needed to do.
Well, there's some parts like from watching the video game ending after the show yesterday when I watched it. I was like, oh, well, that makes sense because there's a lot of those parts you can't do in the show. Like you just mowing through fireflies gets kind of repetitive if you do that in a show. I was kind of disappointed they didn't do the fire alarm. Like they did the shot where he looks at the fire alarm, and that kind of motif of the game, I think would have made it look a little bit different in the show.
I
Like that
the
scene of
way
him going down the hallway, like that big corridor thing, that was really iconic from the game. That was like, oh man, that'd have been awesome if they like shot it more like that, like with the sirens going off and everything. But
yeah, I mean,
here
there
nor there, it
are
was a small nitpicky thing, but it was just kind of like a visual thing for me. I would have been like, oh man, that'd have been cool to see them
the
pull off that
hallway,
thing.
the hallway leading. Obviously, they probably filmed this in an old hospital, whatever.
Yeah,
That
whatever
hallway,
the setup was.
that hallway leading to the emergency room or the operation room,
Yeah,
I'm sure might be that scene might be fleshed out later on. But yeah, I mean, it's a scene that's haunting, and once Joel goes on a rampage, I think they did a great job of like cranking up the soundtrack
yeah,
and making it fast paced because you
yeah,
don't want to. It's a massacre,
yeah,
and like you don't want to dwell on it too much, but you
yeah.
also want to show
Like
the
he's
rage
unstoppable.
he has. Yeah, yeah.
Not even rage, just the unstoppable force that he is when he needs to be.
And it's and it's interesting because in the game you were prompted to shoot the doctor.
Yeah,
You as the player had to make that decision.
yeah,
And every time I played that game, I was just like, part of me is like, I'm okay mowing down people shooting at me,
yeah.
but he's an innocent doctor, but I have to do
Well, he
it.
did pull the scalpel on you.
Well, he put his hands up. He literally put his hands up and he shoots him in the head. In the game, you were prompted to shoot him. I was so happy,
So in the game, here I'll ask you this, because you
yeah.
played the game. Have you played the game and done the different endings to see what happens?
There's no different ending.
So if you don't shoot the doctor, what happens?
You just stand there and it says you gotta shoot the doctor.
Oh, okay. So it's like you have to shoot the doctor. There's no
Yes.
option. Okay.
Yeah. The ending's always the same.
So that's the controversial thing that people are talking about, that there's no like alternative. Like you have to.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you have to save Ellie. That's your
I understand
goal.
that, but I just didn't know like how the game play. Like if you didn't shoot the doctor, can you just leave him? But then that would make no sense for the second game.
Yeah. You have to shoot the doctor.
Yeah.
It was so much fun watching with Allison because he shoots the doctor and Allison audibly goes, don't shoot the nurses. Don't shoot the nurses. And he doesn't. And I was like, yeah, because you're going a little too over the line here. And
well, the doctor in the show, unlike the game, like you were saying, in the game, he raises his arms and is basically like, don't shoot. But in the show, he's like, I'm not gonna let you take her.
yeah,
And he scalpel on him. So he kind of like, there's more of a reasoning behind him shooting him, the doctor, in the show than is in the game.
right. I mean, obviously the doctor would put up a fight. The nurses are not, obviously.
Yeah.
I get it. But the big thing is the one thing, the controversial part that divides people is, did he do the right thing? Now, mowing down everybody and saving Ellie, everybody kind of agrees I would have done the same thing.
Well, the thing
it's the lying. He tells her a completely fabricated scenario.
Yeah. Well, I think that's just because he's trying to save her from
being killed.
But also he also wants her to not have to have that on her. But I think the first thing for me after watching the episode, and I saw some reviews online and stuff, my first thing that I thought the biggest mistake was Marlene, after they told the story, which you don't see in the game, of how Ellie basically became immune. Was because she was still on her mom being born when her mother's bitten. So she has like it's in her blood already when she's born. So she's like built with a natural immunity, kind of.
Yeah.
Really is. But Marlene doesn't give Ellie the option to do it.
From what we're told, it's basically she won't feel any pain. We don't know what is said to Ellie at all. We don't know if they.
Well, Marlene says it in the episode that like they just took her into the operating room and put her under, and she won't feel any pain.
Right.
Never told her that. Never told to Joel, hey, I talked to her and explained to her what was going on, and she made this decision.
Right. We don't hear anything about that. You're right.
Which I think, like, if that had been, wouldn't make sense for the game. It wouldn't make sense for the story that they're telling. But I think from the Joel perspective, like he was saying, I need to see her. I need to talk to her. If he had gotten it from her that this is what I want to do, this is what has to happen.
Right. Yeah.
None of that would have happened. He'd have been, okay, I understand. I don't agree with it, but I understand why you need to do this.
Yeah, totally.
I think that's what he was trying to get to. And the fact that Marlene and them didn't give him that option, this was a consequence of that, is that he was just, I have to get her and out of here.
Yeah. He wanted to save her because
I need to know because if they're not giving her an option, they're just going to kill her without her ever knowing, and who knows what's going to work. That was his other thing. It's like, okay, they do this, take the stuff out of her brain. Who knows if whatever reason why she's immune doesn't work in anybody else. She died for nothing.
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, there's an unknown. There's
also the thing of he's like, the world's not taking another daughter from me.
Oh,
that was his main thing was just like, I just got back to being me again.
Oh, yeah.
This kid. And now the world's just going to take this person away from me again. And he's like, no. Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you, kind of thing,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah.
He just made the executive decision of his own, like, this is what's going to happen. I don't care how the world deals with it, but this is
right.
I'm doing this for me, not for anybody else.
Yeah, basically screw humanity.
Yeah,
and I'm going to save my new
kid.
daughter here. Yeah. And I think that's why it's such a great story.
Yeah.
Then I'm watching with Allison and we finish it and she's like, I was with him until he lied to her. She's just like, I wish he didn't say it. Like, I wish he said something different. And that's the part that everybody has always argued about. I have always been on the side that I get why he lies.
Well, what else would he say? He's not going to tell her that he just mowed everyone down.
I know, because he does. Yeah.
I killed everybody, including your friend Marlene. I just killed them all.
I know.
I don't want you to die.
It's a tough. Well, I mean, I think everybody has different reactions to it, and I think that's great. That's a good sign for a great ending, to this chapter. And like I said, it really, when that game came out and people beat it, that was a very talked about ending, because it was like, holy shit, it made me. I don't agree. Someone saw that and they agree, or I disagree, and I think that's great art. I think great art makes you have different responses, and either you hate it.
Well, the thing too is that, like, you definitely, the way that show ends, I didn't play the game. I wasn't playing the game when it came out, but it definitely sets up a second show, like a second game. So it makes sense that you have to end it in a certain way. That, like, if the person who made the first game made the ending be, oh yeah, this is what happened, I had to kill everybody, and she's mad at him for doing it, like, where does that leave a second game? Kind of, like, where's the story?
Yeah. Well, it definitely leads into part 2. That ending, and they've already said they're going to do part 2, and part 2 is enough to be 2 seasons. So you get 2 seasons out of it.
Which they haven't announced if they're doing that yet.
What?
Officially, that they're doing 2 seasons.
They just said season 2 is coming.
Yeah.
They
didn't announce that it's going to be a third season, which will be.
They talked about in the podcast that it's enough.
There's
to
enough in there to be 2, but who knows?
Yeah.
Hopefully they don't try to jam it all into 1 season, but
they're going to take their. I mean, they did an amazing job.
Yeah.
And season 2 is packed with new characters, packed with a lot of great stuff that they really can expand on. And I think
I mean, spoilers for
it's gonna
people
be
who
really
haven't
good.
played the games.
I'm not talking about part 2
Well, I
at
mean, I know
all.
there's like one thing that happens in the second game,
Well, you shouldn't say it on the podcast.
but
If
I
you
think
know
that would,
anything, you shouldn't
if
say
they're
it.
going to split it into 2 seasons, the second game, I think the end of the second season would be the big happening that happens in the second game.
No, because that happens way early. That's the linchpin. If you know, if I know what you know, and I think I am right, that literally happens in the first half hour, not even hour of the game. So that's the linchpin of the whole game.
Mm.
So what you speak of would happen very quickly in the show.
Okay.
Sadly, I hate to burst your bubble there.
No, I don't know I don't know the whole story, but I just know that happens in the second game. And a lot of people do. It's not that big of a secret.
Well, not everybody knows.
No, but I'm saying the people who would, it's
not everybody knows.
relatively common knowledge, not totally common knowledge, but I mean,
people who
there's a
don't play
big
video
thing that
games
happened in
don't
the
know.
video game that's why. And it's
Well,
kind of known.
not everybody. People who like Allison doesn't know, and I don't want her.
No,
to
I
know.
understand that, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just like
And I'm sure a lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is this: we could talk after, but that's something that happens early on.
Yeah.
And that is literally the linchpin of the entire story.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's all I'm going to say.
Hmm.
I don't think people should know that because it's a big one. It's a big
Yeah.
thing. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, for me, it's a story I've loved, and I was so excited by this. It is my favorite. It's right now my favorite show of the year. I've been wowed about what they have done.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's an amazing show.
Episode 3 is still a standout, and I still think about it, and it gets me goosebumps.
Yeah.
For me, this was a perfect 10. Will I change my mind? It's a show I want to rewatch, definitely. Am I overlooking some flaws? Sure, because I love it. But for me, this is a perfect 10 show. 10 out of 10. I absolutely loved it. I'm excited for when we get to season 2. I actually am really enjoying watching it with Allison because she knows nothing about it, and I get to relive it through fresh eyeballs and thoughts, and get to have that conversation that I never got to have when I played it. I had to listen to podcasts.
Well, it's like you're the solo storytelling because you're the only person that's watching it as it happens, kind of thing.
Yeah. So for you, Marcus,
you could have someone sit with you and just watch the game as you play it, kind of thing,
Yeah. For you, what do you give the series?
For me, since I don't have from the beginning, I've said I'd never played the games, so I don't really have any basis for a lot of the story. I don't have the connection that you have to the story. So it was an amazing show. I will give the whole show as a whole, all the episodes, a 10. This past episode, on its own, not a great episode, I would say. It was a good episode. The mowing down parts was kind of there wasn't really any, you didn't feel the tension that you felt in other episodes.
Oh, see, I felt the tension.
Because you know the story.
I know.
So you have that background to it. But I think I didn't think Joel was not going to get to Ellie in time. The way he was looking, and from watching the previous episodes, and they've kind of built up to this narrative that Joel is like a machine, basically.
But I mean, it's not.
You kind of knew if he were to turn on the switch, everyone was going to die.
But I think that it's the
fact that they didn't mention anyone's names besides the main Firefly. It was all just a bunch of red shirts, basically.
Yeah.
you knew no one was gonna do anything to hold him from.
But I think
where his goal was.
I think either you focus on that violent part or the conversation they have afterwards.
No, I'm getting to that. But I'm just
Yeah,
saying that for that part of the show, it was kind of just blasé, kind of. It was like you knew he was gonna get to her and save her. The fact that he lies to her in the car first, like, just tells her to lie, kind of. I mean, first off, he's really bad at telling the lie. It's like you can kind of see her like kind of being like, okay, that really doesn't make any sense because I didn't see that beforehand. Like when I first woke up, none of that was going on, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's why she questions it when they're walking up the hill.
I think that's the thing.
She knows.
Kind of gave she knows that there's something happened. Doesn't know what exactly happened, but knows it's something.
And she doesn't want to believe he's lying to her. You know what I'm saying?
Because she wants because she just like went through that whole thing last episode.
Right.
And he was the only person, like he was the person that was there. And she puts all her stock on him, basically.
Like a father. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
A bond. They have a bond.
Figure.
Yeah. And they don't want, you don't want to like, if you like, you know, that one day you realize your parents have been lying to you about Santa Claus. You know what I'm saying? You're just
I don't know that's serious, but it's a little different.
Well, obviously,
a little different from lying that your father figure just mowed down 90 people. Not really the same thing, but I kind of see what you're talking about. But
none of our parents have done that, so I can't really compare it to anything.
Well, that we know of. Who knows?
Yeah. But what I'm saying is, when you get older,
I can see Scott Kozowska mowing down 90 people without telling anybody about it.
When you get older in life and you realize your parents aren't perfect and
they
do lie and they do lie to protect you, it changes things, right?
Exactly.
That's all. I can't compare it to mass murder. Sorry. I wish I could, but I can't.
When my parents told me that Santa Claus wasn't real, I felt just like Ellie does after finding out her father figure killed that whole hospital.
When I found out wrestling wasn't real, that was a pretty
shattered my whole world.
Yeah, I was like, I can't do this. Yeah.
But no, you could definitely, differently from watching the video game version of this, I think the video game did a better job of telling the lie than the show did.
Well, it was very verbatim. I
know, but it's just like the way he's like, I don't know, the way they cut in the scene with him shooting the girl there at the end.
That's the same way they did it in the game. They did the
same I know, but it just seemed like it was a different feel to it in the show than it was in the game. Storytelling wise, like I don't know if it was just the way, I don't know. It just seemed like a different.
That's how you saw it. That's fine.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you're wrong.
It was another great episode. I mean, it wasn't terrible. It just wasn't as great as other episodes of the season had been. And I think it's also the show, I think, is as we get farther away from it, and people who are catching it after we all watched it and everything, it's not going to be one of the higher ranked shows.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, like in the scheme of all the episodes, it's not as,
I get what you're saying,
not as high ranked as other ones because it's just not as...
I like the ending. I mean, I do agree that episode 8, if I compare, I think episode 8 was my favorite.
Yeah.
There. I think 3 is a big standout. I think some of the middle episodes.
Even the mall episode was like,
I love that.
It was more Ellie's story.
That was more, I mean,
I think it was just the whole thing of, I think, pigeonholing, or not pigeonholing, but jamming in the thing with her being born at the beginning.
I thought it was cool. I liked that story.
It was great. It's just it then made Marlene's character,
gives her more weight when she dies, because
gives her more when she dies, but also this doesn't make, I don't know. To me, it like, if you knew,
she didn't know until she was bitten, and then she didn't turn. Then she knew.
I know, but she had to have an inkling at least.
How would you know? You don't know because you're not going to just kill a baby or have a baby.
No, not that part. But to say like if you find your friend like that, and they'd been friends for their whole lives supposedly,
Yeah.
and when she comes in the room, and Ashley Johnson's character, who did a great job as Ellie's mom, which kind of was a nice little nod for people who played the game, like Ashley Johnson is Ellie's mom.
And
She
gave
kinda
birth
is.
to
She gave birth to the character in the video games.
that she
It makes
played.
sense that she gives birth to the character in the show.
But she goes,
When she says to her, she's like, "I cut the cord before I was bitten."
Yeah, because
Like, well, how that makes.
Hold on. We saw no. But think about what we saw though. The baby, she kills the clicker.
Yes.
Gives birth.
Yeah.
She notices the bite.
Yeah.
And she cuts it real quick.
Yeah.
Marlene comes in, and because she didn't want her child to be killed,
Yeah.
she lies and says, "I cut it before."
Yeah.
Because they would kill the baby. We saw that from episode 1.
Yeah. No, I got that
You
part.
know?
But I was saying, but I think like Marlene being Anna's friend, as long as she has, would know when she's, giving her a line, basically.
I think you're reaching there.
But then,
want to save her
Marlene
child.
would see her be able to survive the bite and be immune.
Yeah, that's why she wanted her to go to across.
Oh, I know, I understand that. But then the thing for me is, as the character of Marlene, it makes Marlene's character, compared to the video game version of Marlene, because they didn't have that in the video game, the scene with Ellie being born. I think it makes Marlene's character way more insidious. Like, she knows she was there when she was born. When Ellie was born, she finds out she's immune. She makes the decision. Marlene makes the decision. I'm sending this girl to this doctor, knowing probably gonna have to kill her to get the cure.
Yes, but it's to save humanity.
I understand that, but I'm saying it makes her motive much more darker than it did in the video game. That's all I'm saying.
Well, in the video game, we don't know why Ellie's immune, but we just know she needs to go to point A to point B.
Yeah. We also don't know that Marlene knew Ellie's mom.
Yeah, none of that was all. That was all.
That's what I'm saying. In the video game, you don't have that tangible part to it.
Yeah.
Adding that part to the show makes Marlene's character way darker than it was.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit darker, but at the same time, I feel like all these characters, their perspective, they're looking at it that they're the good guy, and I think that's a little bit more real life.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying. That's all I'm saying is that that's the thing for me that made the show different, like more intense, like more in depth than the game was.
Yeah,
was the fact that they add that piece to Marlene's character, that now she has that connection to Ellie, because you don't have that in the video game. You don't know why she decides, like, she finds out Ellie's immune, and they technically in their mind in the games they kidnap her to the Fireflies, and then they send her to this place to get the cure solution.
Yeah.
Supposedly. Yeah. But in the show, you have that thing of she knows who Ellie is. She's the daughter of Marlene's friend since childhood. And she's making a decision to kill her friend's daughter to try to save humanity.
Yeah.
That makes her character's decision way darker than it did in the video game. That's all I'm saying. Is that it's like, you have to think about, like, if that were to happen in the, like, making that decision is way more intent, like way more thought out than in that's all I'm saying. It's the difference between the game and the show is that
yeah. But
Marlene's decision is way more.
Two different philosophies of life. You have someone who is analytical and who's like, this could save a lot of people, and then you have Joel who's just like, fuck humanity. I know what humanity is right now, and it sucks. This is the only thing that gave me light and hope in love,
Well, I think it's like the thing that
and
we
I'm
talked about
willing to
earlier.
sacrifice that.
We just talked about earlier, though. The difference is that it's not just that for Joel. I think there's part of that's the decision making for Joel, but I think in his thought process at the moment, I mean, you don't say hello to people with a flashbang, but that's a whole nother story. And he's been knocked out, and the first thing he hears when he's wakes up is, "Oh hey, Ellie's on the table. She's about to get her brain cut out." And he's like, "Well, not gonna be able to say goodbye to her. Not gonna be able to talk to her and see if this is what she wants."
Oh yeah, I
Like
agree.
all these like things are like this is not how this ends.
They made him into a caged animal.
Yes.
And he
you
wanted
put him
out.
in a no-win situation.
Yes. And I
Like
think
no matter which way he decided, it wasn't going to turn out well for him.
Right. They
Like,
did
if
a
he
great
just said
job.
okay and left,
Yeah.
she dies. He's broken because of that.
Yeah.
Or he saves the thing that's keeping him alive. After he just told his story, like I don't know if that was in the game where he tells the story of him trying to off himself.
Yeah. That's
okay. So I didn't really watch through the whole thing, but just that whole thing of like he says it to her in that scene, like you're like the thing that saved me, like you're the reason like I'm still around now.
Yeah.
So I think that's a whole different like MO for him, that he's like, he's given no option basically.
Oh yeah, he was cornered. I agree. I agree with you. And I agree with what he did. I 100% agree with what happened there.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's always been about him lying at the end. Should he have told her the truth or told her a different way? But
then again, like I said earlier too, like how would you do a second game off that if she was mad at him?
Well, there was no second game at the time.
No, but I'm saying the guy when they made the game, I'm assuming the guy that made the game was already thinking about hoping for a second game.
Well, it didn't come out until 2020, so it took a long time.
But I'm saying, you know what I mean? It's like, I feel like he was probably like, if I write this in a way where the story just ends, they're not going to give me a second game. It's like if he were to tell her the truth at the end of that, what do you think the resolution to that would have been?
Well, I'm not
left.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he wouldn't tell her the truth. And I understand why they did it on a story
telling level
standpoint.
Yeah.
I'm saying in a if I was in his shoes sort of way. It's just an interesting, you're just like, oh God, maybe he should have said it differently, or
but if you were in that, okay, so in that,
I'm not talking about the writer of the story.
No, I'm just saying, but if you were in that situation, if you were Joel, and in the game they gave you the option of telling the truth or telling a lie, at that point, what would you have chosen?
Oh, if I was in that situation, I feel like I would.
You would hope you would tell the truth.
I would want to. It would be a tough pill to swallow. You'd want to say what happened, maybe sugarcoat it a little bit, but
I think if you were to say it instead of like, if you were to explain it in the way of, I woke up after what happened, and I was told you were taken directly into surgery.
Yeah.
They never gave you a choice. They also gave me no choice because they told me I had to leave. I never would have gotten a chance to say goodbye to you. Never had a chance to do anything. And as we were leaving, one of the guys tried to take me out. And that's where your lie starts.
Yeah.
That they decided to try to take me out and kill me. I defended myself.
Right.
And at that point, I decided I can leave you without saying goodbye to you.
Yeah. So
I just decided just to take everyone out.
It is an interesting,
It's not that the lie was wrong. Like he shouldn't have lied. It's the lie that he told that was bad.
Yeah, because he's making the Fireflies the bad guys. which we know he never really liked them to begin with.
Yeah.
And
then the also thing of saying Raiders and like the lie was too obvious.
And that's why she gives him that look, and she's like,
Yeah.
you can tell me right now.
Yeah.
Is that how? And he goes, yes. And that's why it ends like that. It's like,
yeah,
you can tell in her face she
knows
feels
that
like something's up.
right.
There's something's not right here.
Yeah.
But she doesn't wanna, like we said before, you never want to believe your parents are gonna lie to you.
Also, at that moment, it's not the best time when they're out in the middle of the open and.
Well, they're right. Jackson's right there.
Yeah.
They're going to Jackson.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you also go back, this is the fork in the road. You know, Joel says to her, "Hey, we can walk away from this. We can go to Jackson and live our life."
Yeah.
And she says to him, "Then why did we go? Why did we go through all this? Why did I go through this trauma? I need to see this out. My destiny is this is my destiny. I need to see this out." So
I don't think she knew her destiny was to be killed.
I know, but what I'm telling you,
I think that's the difference.
Well, what I'm telling you is, he took away her path and diverted her to go back to the path he wanted to go in, and wherein lies the part 2. That's where part 2 will come in.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, like, you had what Joel wanted to do and what Ellie wanted to do, and then things went sideways. It melted together.
Yeah.
And Joel took Ellie on the destination he felt would be better for both of them.
So here's my next question, because from the little bits I've seen of the second game, there's a time jump.
It's like 3 years.
Okay.
She's 16.
So not long enough where they couldn't have the same actress play Ellie.
Oh, it's Bella Ramsey.
Okay, I'm just saying, because like we talked about earlier with Game of Thrones.
No, it's gonna be the same.
Bella Ramsey, the time jump, and that changed.
Bella Ramsey is playing a 16-year-old, but she's actually 18.
Yeah,
so
I know. I'm just saying, but I just
basically she is.
I didn't know what the time jump was. It was more than like 5 to 10 years.
No, 3 years.
Wouldn't be as easy to keep the same actress,
It's going to be the same casting, probably the whole. Right. Yeah, it's only 3 years.
Okay.
So, but anyway, we should wrap it up.
Yeah.
But
so look for Last of Us season 2 sometime in 2025.
They're going to start filming this year, so by the end of the year.
Yeah, well, it usually takes like HBO shows usually take about 18 months in between seasons.
You know what? Honestly,
a year and a half. So
honestly, I will take HBO shows over most streaming services. They're high quality. Yeah. I mean, Disney Plus just shits it out. Netflix shits it out.
Mando is fantastic.
And look, it takes place. They take a good chunk of time to give you something really good. Yeah. I'm fine with waiting. I rather see a show that's well done.
Quality over quantity.
That's half-assed, and it's just like, hey, we put it out.
Yeah, a quality over quantity scenario.
Look at Netflix.
Yeah,
I mean, sometimes they have more misses than hits because they just got you're shitting things out. I don't even know.
You gotta put stuff on for people to watch. You can't just sit around. You gotta have a lot of stuff going.
I guess that's Netflix's philosophy, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should wrap it up, Marcus.
Yeah.
We will be back next week, and we're going to be giving our review of the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yes.
A week or two before it comes out.
Yes, and it will be, as well as that happening, the end of the beard. Next week.
Yes.
Next week.
Next week.
The 20th. We'll be recording a special episode where we're going to have a special reveal episode of Bryon without the beard.
That's what I look like, sort of, if you get rid of this. This is what I used to.
It's not going to look like that. You're going full clean shaven.
So. I'm going full clean shaven, baby.
So we'll see how this turns out. I have money that Allison's not going to like it.
No, she's going to love it. She's
going to dislike it immensely.
No.
I feel like she thinks that she's going to like it, but then she's going to see it and be like, oh, God, this is a bad decision. Never do this again.
I hate to break it to you, Mark. Anytime I shave completely clean. She's like, I wish you'd keep it that way. Every time. And I asked her, I said, do you want me to go completely or leave like a stubble or whatever? She goes, no, just shave it all
Nobody
off.
wants just a stubble. That's not worth the effort at that point.
Well, I mean, I could trim it down.
Like to
so
this.
It's like, so it's like this.
Like to this kind of deal. Like
Yeah.
I got. Like
Yeah,
the short
yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I got rid of that and just you know what I'm saying?
Cleaned it up. Yeah.
But I'm going full baby face.
We'll see. We'll see how this turns out.
Yeah.
It's been a while now. It hasn't been.
I started growing this beard back last February.
Yeah.
So I've been growing it for a little over a year now.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I trimmed it up now and again. But
Yeah,
I think it was like in the middle. Yeah, if you go back to February and then you go through all our videos, you just see it get bigger, longer,
bushier,
longer.
out of control.
Yeah. So, old man winter, goodbye.
Yeah.
All right, Mark.
So we'll see how it turns out. We'll have that next week, and then the feeling week after that, in person, 2 of us in one room.
This
For
is
the
big.
first time in over 2 years now. It was in
Exciting.
2020 was the last time we were in person together for a show.
Yeah, we recorded in our little booth probably in January and February.
Yeah.
COVID happened and then never again.
In March, and then we haven't been back since. So
Yeah, crazy.
it's the first time back in the bunker in over 2 years.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Stay tuned
All
for all
right.
that and more. And as always, be safe, be well, be kind.
And rewind.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.